Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. My guest this morning, well, it's a holiday, by the way, so happy Easter is in order.
Yeah, happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Easter season. Yeah. Good Friday and all of that. Well, you just heard the voice there of Honorable Olusegun Olulade. He's of the Lagos State House of Assembly, representing Epe Constituency 2. And our other great friend in the House is Honorable Joe Igbokwe. He's Lagos APC Publicity Secretary. Thanks for coming on, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Indeed, and you guys were very, very engaged, let me say, yesterday, because this time yesterday, that's where you were, the Bola Tinubu Colloquium, the BTC. It's an annual event, and as a matter of fact, I even learned something yesterday when the president was speaking, and when he saluted the vice president, you know, and his colleagues for initiating the idea 10 years ago, because it was the 10th Bola Tinubu Colloquium. Everybody was there. So don't let's spend time telling people who were there, because they saw it themselves. But then you can take it that there you see pictures, just about everybody was there. And fittingly so. It was indeed to celebrate, was it not, the Jagaban of Africa. Some say Jagaban of the world. You know,
of the black race.
Of the black race. But originally it was Jagaban Bogu. Jagaban Bogu has now...
An idea too.
It's an idea as well, you know.
A movement.
So after the president, to sort of get into it, after the president had, you know, done all of that and spoke, he now came to the society and the job at hand, of which himself, Bola Tinubu, who, by the way, he referred to as his political partner yesterday. People were just listening with rapt attention, and he referred to him as his political partner. But he said, look, in the 10 years that this event has been going, we've definitely made strides in one sense. But in another, we've moved but only a few steps. Yet, the journey is inevitable. And as he put it, there is no compromise in bringing a better society, a better Nigeria with, shall we say, happier people, more fulfilled people, because that was the theme. Yeah. The theme was investing in people. Yeah. Grab hold of the idea, at least one of the ideas that the president put out there, if you will, Honorable Olulade, that we've moved far in the 10 years since this has been going. Yeah. But in another step, in another sense, only but a few steps. There was a parable in there, right, by the president. Yeah. Give me your understanding.
Yeah, my understanding is the fact that, no doubt, even Ashwaju Bola Tinubu also agree with that statement when he said, definitely we campaign, we believe in ourselves, we believe in our programs, we believe in what we are going to deliver to Nigerians, but we are faced with challenges. And that is the area I think Mr. President was trying to refer to, that there are challenges, and we must admit that there are challenges. And
that there are people who will try to debar you from your goal.
Yes, there are people who are out there to stop the good things happening. Just like the Vice President also mentioned yesterday, corruption is going to fight back. We are fighting corruption. So definitely corruption is going to fight back. And that's what we are seeing. And that's why we are having all these challenges that we are talking about. So for me, I think the input of that statement is that, look, in some areas we've done so well, while in some areas we know
there are challenges.
There are challenges, and we will see do something. We are here. We are here to make the change. Indeed. We are here to correct those bad years.
Using that word of the word correct just reminded me that the president also said, Joe, that I'm paraphrasing him now, the endeavor is to replace corruption with correctness.
Yes.
You know, and he also, it was heartwarming, I think, when the president also said that they are resolute in the commitment to uplift our people.
Sorry. Okay, him. Okay.
Please, Joe.
Okay. Everybody has a kind of background.
Sure.
You know where you're coming from. If the background is battered beyond probably recognition, you have to do a lot of work to fix it. I'm looking at it at the engineering angle. You know that when you I take the Twin Towers in New York, how it was brought down, and how it took them almost a year and a half to clear the mess that left. Nobody is talking about, I don't know whether they have started rebuilding that place. It tells you what happens when you have to clear an organ stable. I believe you know the story of an organ stable in a place where thousands of cows were kept for close to 30 years without clearing the feces and all that. They got a man to do that. What the man do is to connect a pipe to the ocean and began with heavy pumps. I don't know how many years he did that to clear the organ stable. So I'm just trying to paint a scenario that you can, yes, you cannot eat your cake and have it. If you have, because like I always said, if you meet a doctor in the morning and you complain of stomach headache, what did you eat yesterday? What did you eat yesterday? You that say, maybe another way you can look at it is somebody that you have children, and you never invested in the children, and after 10, 15, 20 years, you now want to harvest. Somebody will ask you, did you make the investment? Did you train these kids? Because if you really want to, if you want to harvest something for 1 year, plant rice. If you want to harvest for 10 years, plant trees. If you want for 100 years, train your kids. So we have not...
Which fits very nicely into the theme, investing in people. In people,
yes.
Now, let's look at that, investing in people as the theme. This is indeed the goal, the desire. What's your understanding of progress we might have made in that regard, investing in people? Because let me give a little background to what I'm trying to say. The president had said that he has come to know Bola Tinubu as a man who deeply cares about people and about the advancement of people. He's come to understand that that is the gentleman that we have here and that we're celebrating. In fact, I think the president had said that the whole desire of the upliftment of the people is a birthday gift that I'm sure Adshaju would love. Yeah. But practically now, how much evidence of that are we seeing, and how much more is left to be done? This whole matter about investing in people, because it suggests to me that, what is this word that we say? You put the right people on the job, but for so many different reasons, sometimes political strategy, sometimes trade barter, politically we have found that it hasn't always worked that way, yet we want excellence. Is there something of a contradiction? Because we see the way politicians behave, and then we hear the ideas they're talking about. Resolve that, if you will.
Well, I would say that when you talk about, there's a clear proof of how people can be invested on. And that is what we have seen that yesterday. Yesterday was an assemblage of people that Ashwaju have touched their lives in different ways. Those people you have met, those who have not met, those who have heard him, those who have made impact in their lives.
All those people came around to celebrate him.
To celebrate him. So when we are talking about...
But I suspect that the thought really goes beyond the caliber of people who had the privilege of an invitation to that, Galaxy event. Yeah. It goes really to the core, to the ordinary person.
Ordinary people, yeah.
How his standard of living can be brought back up. Yeah. And that's where the president's replacing corruption with correctness will go a long way.
Now, that yesterday, at the colloquium also yesterday, we saw children who could not afford the meal going, to school because somebody's feeding them in their primary schools, coming out to say, this is who we are. We saw women who were involved in the cooking. We saw people who are producing eggs, farmers. So those are impacts that cannot
be easily seen,
be quantified. So when you look at how people's lives were being touched in the health sector, in the transport sector, in the agricultural sector, in education, in every sector, even our SMEs, how they have been impacted with the policies of government and with ideas that comes out of the colloquiums that have been happening from the first year to the 10th year. Today, I mean, yesterday was a decade of having the colloquium for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Ideas were being given birth to. And we are seeing those
ideas. Going on for 10 years.
For 10 good years.
The president noted that.
Yes. And we are seeing those ideas translating into visible proofs or evidences of good governance.
So, well, you are of the APC, so let me just say, you and Joe are both diehard members of APC. So when you say that, it's to be expected. No, so Joe.
Well, you don't expect us to say otherwise.
Yes, yes. Because I can just hear the opposition,
deep.
howling as it is their right to howl.
We are deep. We are APC.
Yes.
You know what we say? Tokon. We are APC. No other.
Yeah.
No apologies.
Yes. But still, we're talking fact here.
Yes.
We're talking fact
that cannot be circumvented by politics.
Impacting lives,
yes.
But also, what struck me is an acknowledgement of the fact that it's not an easy ride. In fact, it's an uphill task. The president spoke about it might well be that there are those who will want to prevent you, and he wasn't talking particularly about him, but in life, who would want to prevent you from achieving your aim. Professor Shubajo spoke about fighting corruption and corruption fighting back, and that kind of a thing. So all of that is in there. Maybe there's a sense in which when you look at Tinubu, who until very recently, nobody exactly knew what his disposition was, but suddenly some things began to happen on the political sphere. For instance, the president spoke in a certain way. What the president said seemed to go back and justify what had been said months before. And so people begin to put interpretations to all of this. Then subsequently, this annual event comes up. The president graces it with his attendance. And by the way, there are some notable absences, from the thing yesterday. When you look at all of that, you see a certain, what does all of that say to you? The president, the statement by the president, on the impact of that statement, the president actually now coming to this coincidental event, it's coincidental that the event happened to be now, and the fact that some key and important people were not there. I suppose the most visible person that wasn't there was the chairman of APC. Chief Oyebu.
Actually,
give me your read.
No, actually, people follow you. All the books I've read about leadership, it says people will follow a leader when that leader knows where he's going, when that leader cares, when that leader can be trusted, when that leader can, there's so many other days. You see, I'm a product of Atuaju's school of thought. Since 1999, I've been following him. And in 2005, he brought me into government. And if I look back from that 2005 to date, I have seen a humongous development within me for being close to him, learning from him. Because if you notice that you have a defect somewhere, we'll just put you to somewhere. For instance, if we go to functions, we'll come and talk. Why me? Why me? But in doing those things, I have developed so much that I can now engage you, anywhere. And I remember also one day we were in his office in Freedom House. Yes. We are narrating how he brought you up. Yes. Thousands of us, which time and space will not permit me to begin to mention their names. You see, this is...
And that's for people that he actually knows. He also
there are people that you don't,
to be doing things
know.
For people he doesn't even know. With the same amount of passion and dedication to these people can hardly, if they want, they can come back. But quite frankly, he doesn't need them to come back and thank you and thank him. But I am hearing stories from those who are close to him that is not just...
You can't count it. The man is dependable. The man knows, stands for something. There was a time in his house, when we go, we'll just sit down. Because at any particular point in time, if he's at home, you have about 20, 30 people around. That's the mark of a leader. And
the minimum.
Sometimes, yeah, that's the minimum. Sometimes all of us will be sleeping. And he will come out and say, you see, all of you are sleeping. Only me is awake. Only me is attending to all of you. And you'll be sleeping. When it's your turn, you come. And me, I will not sleep. All of you will be sleeping. We'll just laugh.
So he's a man of good humor as well.
He takes care of details. Things you cannot see, he will remind you. And he's a very careful somebody. If you fail him, he will give you a chance to repent and come back. But he knows, in his span, he knows who is the leader, who can be trusted, who can be delegated to go and do something. You know he's that kind of person.
So when the president referred to him as a strategist, and apart from being his political partner, those words must have been, horrible words to be coming from the president to the ears of some. In the context. This must have been horrible words. In fact, there are people who, I'm sure it was a coincidence, you begin to look at the pictures in the press, on the TV, and people began to read meaning into expressions, that kind of thing. We will do that. People will do that, although none of that might be true. But this whole matter about him having an uncanny eye for choosing people and directions. There are those who would not be happy. In fact, there are those who say, is it only one person, that kind of a thing. But people who are close to him, like your good selves, say that, and indeed the rest of people can see that of all the strategic directions he's gone, the people he's chosen, which one are you going to come and say was an error? Which one? Where had those people not gone on to excel? And in a latent sort of way, the credit will come to him, because without him, we didn't know them. He introduced them to us. And then we said, okay, we don't know this one. We never heard of this one, but okay, let's try. And then before you know where you are, everybody starts singing the praise that this is fantabulous. How does this man do it? That kind of a thing.
I would say that Asiwaju is a man of foresight and is a man of insight. He's a man that is deep and a strategist, like you rightly, the president rightly put it. So for me, I am of the opinion that he's blessed. He's a blessed man. God bless him. And we don't have people like that always. We have them once in a decade, once in a century at times. So for us, we are blessed in this part of the world to have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for him to be able to discern and design and retooling that he mentioned yesterday, the retooling, the re-engineering, the recouping, and all sort of things of making impacts and carefully choosing people. By virtue, I would say it's not common. It's an uncommon blessing from God that you see people who have that kind of foresight to look at someone and say, okay, this is the kind of person that this person is going to deliver to us. And he can read people easily. He knows when you are telling him lies. He knows when you are playing politics. He knows when you are genuine. He knows, and like I often say, look, we have Asiwaju today. People, those of us who say we believe in him, those of us who say we are following his footsteps, we should do things that he does in our respective world. When I say world, in our sphere of life. So we should do things that he does by imparting. When we talk about generosity, he's a legend. When you talk about somebody who can engage other people, argue with you, and it doesn't matter if you criticize him. Once it's constructive, he goes with you. All he wants is the best for the people. Because he cares for the people. Because he's always looking forward to helping people. And that is why you see people, even when some of his associates disagree with him, they go and they couldn't find home anywhere. They will still come back to him And because of the kind of person that he is, a great leader that he is, he will still welcome them back and still, give them opportunity to also express themselves if truly they are back fully. And that's the kind of person that he is. And that is why you continue to see this kind of followership. You see the youths. Just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the youth comes together to say, we want to celebrate this man, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So it's not about your hate, it's not about your tribe, it's not about your religion. It's for everybody.
And for nobody.
And it's for somebody.
Okay. I thought you were going to finish.
That was not his word.
Indeed.
It's for everybody and for somebody.
Yes, and everybody can now itemize that somebody and say, I am that very,
I am that
very somebody. Now, we know the critical importance of, a political persona like Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and it would have seemed, going back to the election in Ondo State, that there was something of a crack, and the man being the nationalist that he is, and also wanting to be a cohesive figure, he just sort of pulled back from the public sphere, would not comment. Oh, everybody was commenting. Everybody had, if he was commenting, it was done in deep private, and nobody could actually quote him on that. Are those days yesterdays now? Is this a new dawn politically?
It has always been. It has always been. A leader will fight. Sometimes you take a tactical retreat.
Okay.
And move. I remember in 2007 when Fashola was picked. People will celebrate the achievements, but sometimes there are setbacks, things that you need to fight. Fashola was picked, and there was these 12 candidates, 12 of them, gang up and said, this will never happen. As I speak, they were addressing press conferences every day. We did one because those of us, very few, came out and stood with him. How he managed to get those 12 back to our party is what I cannot tell. So, and one thing I know, I have noticed over the years, very close to 18 years that I've been with him, is his capacity and ability to forgive and forget. I know there was a time, I won't mention names.
Now that you mentioned that particular sequence, yes. Forgive and forget, yes. Because also in this society, I mean the Nigerian society, yes. People also, rightly or wrongly, note politicians that they say are vindictive and will never forget, an affront or a slight. So right. Now that you say his capacity to forgive, forget, and reset,
he will grab you back. I know some of his boys, let me just use boys, they are men, but we'll call them boys, actually. One of them was gunning for a particular governorship of a particular state, and the leader was asking, you wait for your turn, wait for your turn. You've been a commissioner for almost 12 years, wait for your turn. At the time, he was not even picking the call. He was not even picking Asiwaju's call again. But what happened? One day I got to his house, I saw the person, and I said, what is happening? I said, it's my son. I cannot throw him away. That is the man that you're talking about. Magnanimity, forgiveness, he fights and retreats. If he loses in any fight, we take up it. We take it up. The man will take a tactical retreat. We take it up. We will not talk. But when he achieves something humongous, he's the one that will come out and talk. Leaders don't celebrate failures.
Indeed. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, he, as all of these festivities are going on, the man probably isn't given too much festivities because he has a lot of work on his plate. The reconciliation committee is not the least among the assignments that he's tackling. People have wondered how he's going to make headway in that. In fact, people have felt it was such a hopeless case that they have actually, on our program, advised him not to take it. Don't accept an inheritus damnosa, an impossible
You can't
task.
destroy the house you have built.
Exactly, but
you cannot.
He's taking it. The notable abstentions yesterday. We don't want to emphasize too much because this is a happy time, but it's significant. The Senate President wasn't there, the Speaker of the House of Representatives wasn't there, among others. The chairman of the party wasn't there, just limited to those three. There are more that weren't there. Is this a challenge? Because the inclusiveness of the man that you're talking about, I have no doubt from listening to you guys that he probably has an even keel emotionally about those guys. I don't know, because that's the way leaders must be. You can't say probably because of you offended me yesterday. You've just talked about the man's capacity for forgiveness. He's probably going to want to say, okay, let me hear you now. Now that the ground is a more level, let me hear you. But I was asking if you think it's a crack that's a bit too wide.
When we're going into elections, one thing I've learned from the governor of Osun State, you have your green areas and your red zones. You don't spend too much time in your green areas. That is for you. Traditionally, it's for you.
It's your home base.
It's your home base. You go and spend more time, energy, and resources in the red zones. So, actually, you have no need to go. You just mentioned about how many of them, 3, 4? Don't worry. He has the battalion behind. And these are the green zones. He will go for the red zones because everybody's needed in this boat. Everybody's needed. But don't forget when APC was choosing the principal officers of the National Assembly, what was on the table. He was instrumental, the leader was instrumental for what was on the table. But somehow, something happened. And we had, well, because we did not, that mistake is still haunting us to date.
There you go.
Probably, if he had been listened to, we wouldn't have been where we are today. Because no party wins an election, a presidential election in a presidential system, and you go back when the principal officers of the National Assembly are being put together. Probably the president said, okay, I've won the election. You know, his attitude of the president, let not happen, I don't want to interfere. Too much of, fairness, being truthful, being honest. But he didn't know that in politics, some of these things, you need to work for everything. You need for everything. So that problem has been there. But I believe that the leader has the capacity, knowing that he can forgive and forget. Because, at a time like this, we need everybody on board.
Now, needing everybody on board, needing everybody on board really means the simple sentence. It means every single word of it. Everybody must come together and pull in the same direction. But then again, human nature, real life is such that it doesn't matter how noble the objective, not everybody is going to be pulling in the same direction. Oshiba just said it in a different context yesterday.
Of course.
Said it. We're fighting corruption. Corruption is going to fight back.
Yeah, of course.
So now, here, that which I brought up and which Joe has commented upon, it's quite fundamental. The beginning, the way things were arranged, and what happened. Not very many people will admire his responsibility of, you can't afford to see anybody as an outcast, I imagine. So only God knows how he's going to come into that whole situation, because people feel it's almost like an impossible solution. And in any case, you've got to meet yourselves halfway. And I didn't quite understand or know what to make of the abstentions yesterday. It could very well have been a touch of malaria. It could very well have been
anything could have happened.
Something that could be easily explained.
The coincidence is just.
However,
we know that for me, we have to be frank here. We must say the truth. There is something missing, and for me, I believe he has a tax on his hand to ensure that he reconcile these people. And in reconciliation, it's a two-way thing. Even when you are prepared and the other party is not prepared for reconciliation, it brings us to... And I must also say this, that every building, every structure that we are seeing all over the world must have a foundation.
Yeah.
The foundation of our
And it must be a sound foundation.
And it must be a sound foundation. The foundation of this particular government was faulty.
Okay, we've got to go on a break, and then we'll come back and we'll elaborate on the idea. All of it against the backdrop of the Bola Tinubu Colloquium, the 10th edition of which happened yesterday. Stay with us, please. Welcome back, and we're looking at yesterday's, mega event, the Bola Tinubu Colloquium, the 10th edition yesterday, at which the president reaffirmed that the commitment is unshakable to uplift, the lot of the Nigerian people. Here's a report, a brief report on that event yesterday.
It is now a decade since the Bola Tinubu Colloquium was instituted. And the theme of this edition, witnessed by President Muhammadu Buhari and many other national dignitaries, is investing in people. The event to commemorate Tinubu's 66th birthday was used to reel out some of the achievements of President Buhari on job creation, entrepreneurship enhancement, and others.
Alhaji Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The president said his administration is committed to replacing corruption with correctness. Vice President applauded Tinubu for his services towards the development of the nation.
Asuwaju is widely known as political strategist. But strategy is barren unless wedded to a higher purpose than just itself. Here, Asuwaju also sets himself apart. I have come to see him as a man who cares about people and who is a fountain of ideas for economic of the common man and woman.
The Bola Tinubu Colloquium still draws its thematic priority from the main focus of Bola Tinubu's life, the people. Not only is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu a man of the people, his life story in both public and private spheres tells of a fighter and a champion of people-oriented causes.
National leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, said a responsible government and society should invest heavily in those things that promise economic prosperity and employment.
We know that there are challenges, but what are we doing about it? And we must articulate those programs, make a promise to Nigerians once again that hope is back. We have the audacity of it. We will bring Nigeria on the right path of prosperity and banish poverty forever.
Guests commended the organizers for selecting the theme, which they said explains the true personality of the celebrator.
Asiwaju attracted me into public service. My first public service job was, serving as commissioner for, in Lagos State, and I come originally from Anambra State.
I'm a success because of Bola Tinubu, and I think we can see the political terrain, how many people he has made a success of.
Mr. President,
Tinubu called on Nigerians not to accept the apology of the People's Democratic Party, likening it to the case of a thief who is only begging because he was caught in the act.
We did say we will not be challenged, but we have to report to millions of Nigerians who voted for us that this is what we'll find. And we are not going to take it off the ground, no matter how twisting the mind of PDP and their supporters may be. We keep talking about it. You looted. You wasted our resources. You did not do what you promised.
The colloquium was witnessed by politicians, party faithful, monarchs, government officials across the country. Ola Awakon, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, so there you have it. As I said, just about everybody was there, and there's a little evidence of that. Before we went on break, we were saying, okay, beyond the festivities, because the following day, got to return to work. That is, even if you wasn't working, continuing to work yesterday, you have to go back to work. And you were speaking about, we're talking about the foundation of the party, the vision of the founding fathers, and the fact that, well, the subsequent membership after formulation of the goal, the subsequent membership that was necessary to achieve the goal compromised those goals. So you were saying that like the foundation
was 40.
Yes.
And I think that's where we are today. And that is one thing that we all agree that it was a big mistake on the part of the leader of our party, on the part of Mr. President, for saying, I belong to nobody and all sorts. So, but for me, I think
if anybody wanted to be remembering mistake in this festive time, we've moved on.
We've moved on as
well. There still are some baggages that need to be
understand,
unbundled.
Just like what Ashwaju said, and even the Vice President said it yesterday, that we cannot forget what the PDP have done to this generation, to this country, just because if we must move forward, we must look back to move forward. So in doing so, in this respect also, we must be able to look back and see where do we get it wrong, and how are we going to correct those steps in future. So, and that is where we are now. And that is why Asiwaju's task in reconciling those people who are out there, like my leader in the party have said, that look, we have to understand that everybody is important in politics. So in doing so, Asiwaju will always show his joker at the right time, and is coming out after these people. He's not going to leave them. We know that some of them didn't show up just because it was Asiwaju that has been celebrated yesterday. That is just a fact. But the truth about it is that, like he said, and like every one of us knows, that Asiwaju easily forgive and forget. Yes. And he will be able to go hard out there. And when people were complaining, for me, I believe that he's the best man for the job to reconcile everybody at the party. And I think he's doing great now. We are seeing people that we do not even expect them. Even at the colloquium yesterday, I saw some faces that I wouldn't like to mention names.
I would have liked you to mention names.
I wouldn't like to mention names. But I saw some faces and I was like, yeah, that's Asiwaju for you.
Yeah.
So,
did you want to add to that, Joe? Because
no, just because when he was appointed as the chairman of Reconciliation Committee, I wrote something, 10 reasons why Asiwaju will not fail. And I'll just tell you.
One moment, please. We're having, in case you're wondering out there, say what happened to the phones? Well, it happens. So there are one or two technical problems with the phone. But we're trying to see if we can patch something together. I believe there's a call. Let's test that out. Hello, is there anybody there? Hello? A little more work. We still need a little more work on it. We want to bring you the phones because that's what today is all about. It's your program. You know that the main function of this program is to get your voice in addition to those of the experts that come in. So Joe,
I was saying that looking at Asiwaju as a person, is one man. That's what I was giving reasons why he will not fail in this task. He's one man that has risen above primordial sentiments and his ethnic preoccupation in dealing with issues of life. And when you get to his house at any particular point in time, you see all kinds of people. Has built leaders in the north, east, west. I'm one of them. So, and he's well respected. He is well respected.
Indeed.
Across,
that is evident.
Across. There's so many reasons I would have given you. That time and space will not permit me, but I want to tell you that he will not fail.
Okay.
He has never failed.
I also wanted to bring and seek your comment, if you want commentary, on this whole matter about PDP, being warned against. Now the little political spin came into it.
Yeah.
Don't accept the apology, whatever. Yeah. Now I wanted to. You probably have heard those who maybe the critics who are saying that. So now that APC is in power, what can we now not see that? Oh, you didn't know it was a hard job. You were blaming PDP. Are you able to do any better now? We've not moved since. Even the president said that in one sense we've moved quite appreciably. In another, but a few steps. So what would you say to those people who are saying that, which one are you talking about? We have not done anything.
No, we won't allow them to change the narrative. That's why we're here. We knew where we were.
Let me try one more call. Hello, Yakub from Dokwemu. Good morning. This thing still isn't working. Yakub, if you're hearing us, we can't hear you. We're just trying to make sure that we want to hear from you as well. You know how we do here now. So we're having technical problems. Actually, I'm told that it's not a technical problem per se. It's the networks, the phone networks. I don't know, but that's what I'm being told. Sorry, Joe.
And you see,
this whole matter about
we're not
opposition saying that you've not done anything better than us.
We're not going to expect them to praise us because we know what we took away from them. I always say feeding bottles. And if you think they will just go...
You can't take a feeding bottle from a baby and not expect it
to cry.
Okay.
And when you close 20,000 accounts, people own those accounts. You don't expect that they will be happy. When you seize houses worth billions, don't expect that the owners will be happy. When you seize money that runs into thousands, millions of dollars and billions of naira, you don't expect that those people will be happy. When you seize cars of people, some of them, one man, and up to 75, you don't expect that those people will be happy. This is what we're dealing with. Okay. To them, nothing is happening. Everything has been turned upside
because
down.
All the taps have been closed.
Yes. You don't expect. They are used to it. It was a 16 years affair. They are used to it. Cheap money. When people say, we can't see money, we can't buy anything, those cheap monies from 20,000 accounts are no longer coming. They're no longer coming. Somebody has closed the tap. That's why the president is very careful. But they can even kill all of us. They can even, if they have a way, they can kill all of us to come back to power. But it will not happen. It will not happen.
You are hoping it will happen.
No, it will not happen. And we don't see anywhere how it's going to happen. We are not, those who destroyed our yesterday will not be entrusted with the power again to control tomorrow's potentials. Let us fix the damage first. You see, when they provoke us, we are not supposed to be talking about it. But when they provoke us, we remind them, because in Igbo language, in Igbo land, they will tell you, look, if you cannot find out what killed your father, what killed your father will kill you.
Okay.
So you have to know this. If we don't want to get back to where we are, but they will force us to take when the evildoers begin to be bold and tell you that what is wrong is right, and what is right is wrong. Then we say, no.
Yeah.
We have a history.
That double speak.
We have a history where we are coming from. We inherited a devastated house.
When the president yesterday, Honorable Luladi, at the Bola Tinubu Colloquium, inter alia said that we seek to replace corruption with correctness.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think is actually being achieved?
First of all, I will start from the angle of corruption.
Sure.
When you look at what the vice president said yesterday, just one person in one transaction was able to take away $7 billion. And he listed...
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
No problem.
Forgive me for interrupting you. Could you just hold the thought so you can return to it?
I will.
I hear we have Demola from Aja on. Good morning. Well, you can see that the challenge continues, but never mind. We are, you know, as, what was the word the president used? We are as resolute in bringing your voice to you today, if at all possible. Be sure that we will not rest unless it's beyond, entirely beyond our control, which I hope the whole matter of being able to replace corruption with correctness is not beyond the control of the current administration.
Current administration, yeah. You know, I said we're starting from the angle of corruption. And when you look at what the vice president said yesterday concerning just one individual transaction of over $7 billion, and he was listing the roles that $7 billion could have done for us in Nigeria. And he listed about 6 roles in Nigeria. And the roles that I can relate with is the Shagamu Road, I mean, all these roads that are all over.
Enugu Port Harcourt, you mentioned the East-West Expressway, you mentioned the Second Niger Bridge.
Second Niger Bridge and all sort of things, and those roads can be done with that money. And somebody just decided to take away that money. And you think those people will be happy with this government? They wouldn't. So for us in the party, we are resolute. We are committed to this cause, to correct those years
of the locusts.
Years of the locusts. But it's something that has to be done strategically, I would imagine, because especially as people say, in a first term, in a first of hopefully 2 terms, people tend to be quite strategic in how they go about it so that they can be allowed to lay the foundation that they need to lay. So the theory continues. But when you are assured, or when you get into the second term, that is when you now, as it were, quote unquote, bare your fangs and now say, there's nothing more, you know, to be lost, because, so let's deal with it. Do you think we've seen some of that, and that could be accounting for what opposition might say, in spite of everything that has been done, saying that, so what is different between what we used to do and what we're seeing now?
In 16 years, the locusts have eaten up everything on ground, and we expect
that in 3 years.
That in 3 years, in less than 3 years, everything will have changed. And that is why he said we have done so much in certain areas.
Yes.
Because we cannot, if we must be able to do everything at the same time, we will miss out so many things. So because of the determination, because of the resolution of this current government to ensure that we take away those bad years and replace it with good governance, we must do it steadily. And in doing it steadily, we must be strategic about it. And that is why we cannot just come and say, you are tackling security, you are tackling corruption or in agriculture, corruption in aviation, corruption. So we need to go slow and steady.
Or at least systematically.
And systematically to ensure that Nigerians can benefit from this current government.
And that is what people, critics are. Even APC members, loyal APC members have criticized their own party and this administration for slowness.
It's allowed.
It's allowed. For slowness.
Yeah.
In fact, people have gone as far as bemoaning the fact that, look, I worked for Mr. President. He doesn't even know me, but such is my passion for him, the concept I have of him. Now I'm being disappointed. You've heard all of this.
We had it, but people must not. I said, if out of annoyance, I take this in my car, but if I throw it away, madman will pick it and use it forever. So I'm not going to throw it away because I see what other people are not seeing. Yeah. When you are laying a foundation for, I've always said it, for a 100-story building, those of us who don't have an idea of what laying foundation is will be worried what we're doing there. If you've been there for 6 months, 1 year, you say, what is this man doing? What is this man doing? Yes. Because they are used to hot. H-U-E-T. Yes. H-U-E-T. H-U-T. Hot. Just one room.
Now you want to bring in a multi-story building.
You will be at the foundation for years, even though nobody lives in that foundation. Nobody lives in the foundation of any building, but that is where the strength is.
And when you've been used to a hut,
you wouldn't know what that man is doing. What the man who is laying foundation for 100-story building, you won't know what he's doing at the foundation for 1 year, 1.5. Okay. Leave that for experts.
Okay. As a party man,
I am from Southeast. What Southeast gave Buhari is about 93,000 votes. But go to Southeast today. All the federal roads, majority of the federal roads are receiving attention, including Second Niger Bridge. They swindled us, for 16 years. For 16 years, they didn't vote. I also want to talk about the Anchor Borough CBN something. This 50 billion that was deposited to CBN to give to farmers, rice farmers. Let me tell you, in the next 1 year, Nigeria will have no need to import a bag of rice in this country.
Okay.
I know what one man is doing.
One further trial. Let me try Idris in Maduguri. Good morning, Idris. Idris, can you hear us in Maduguri? I suspect you can, but we cannot hear you if you happen to be speaking. So, as I said, we're going to we're resolute in our attempt to see if we can do it. We're not going to give up.
Neck deep. It's either you are with us or you are not with us. Okay. Our eyes are fixed on the ball.
All right, then. Time is running out, but the whole matter about people have been silent for a while, especially with a bit of turbulence that was within the party, but this whole matter about whether or not President Buhari will run, I think somehow that is not too much of a contentious question anymore. I'm just speculating now.
Yes, for me, even if he decided he's not going to run, we will make sure he runs. Because he's doing something for us.
Okay.
He's helping this nation.
He is the biggest asset.
Yes.
To APC.
Yeah.
The man is a classical assemblage of integrity, honor, truthfulness, and uprightness, and that's what we need. That's why they want him to die.
Okay, and with his long-time political partner, his long-time political partner is
is an asset to APC. Remove him, we'll have problem. So, the man is not going anywhere. We will make sure that he comes back to take the journey to the fullest. Okay. By the time we be living in 2023, we would have laid a foundation for correctness that you talked about. That's where we're going.
I think it's a fine place to leave it, actually. Let's just leave it right there.
I'll just put this, that I want to appeal to Nigerians to just be patient with this government and let us do what we promise from the onset to ensure that we bring back good governance to this country and we must bring back Buhari for everybody, for us in 2019 to 2023.
Indeed. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Joe Ibokwe, Lagos APC Publicity Secretary, and Honorable Olusegun Olulade of the Lagos State House of Assembly. And indeed, I suppose we can't leave this program without using the opportunity to say happy birthday, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Okay, so that's our program then. I was going to say join us tomorrow, but we don't do weekends. Nevertheless, we will do Monday, holiday or not. We do every other day of the year, just Saturday and Sunday. So see you Monday, God willing. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.